Frank, as you well know, yesterday record temperatures of 102. Today it's been hovering around that same mark, but the temperatures have been cooled slightly by winds. High winds of 18 to 24 miles per hour, as you can see from atop the ever-changing skyline of Indianapolis, Indiana. We're standing by for the first of two men's semifinals. 100 meters is the distance, and of course, the star in this event for the United States is Carl Lewis. The world record held by Canadian Ben Johnson at 9.83. He is watching ABC today in Canada. Lewis sharing the American mark with Calvin Smith. And so the field. We'll begin to tell you about lane one, where Harvey Glantz, a veteran at the age of 31, attempts to become the first sprinter in history to earn a berth on 4 United States Olympic teams. In lane 5, the man, Carl Lewis, now 27. Of course, his gold medals at the Olympics in 1984 were the 1 and 200 meters, long jump, and 4 by 100 meter relays. Yesterday, twice, he ran a 9.96, becoming the first man ever to break 10 seconds in the early rounds. Dennis Mitchell will be in lane 6. He's 22 years old, a junior from Florida. He's one of the top young sprinters in the world. He ran a 10.03 to finish first at the Lausanne Grand Prix last month, which was the fastest time in the world until Lewis's performance yesterday. And so the remainder of the field now, along with Glantz in lane 1, is Brian Cooper from McNeill State in lane 2, Mike Marsh, a junior at UCLA in 3, Lee McNeill from East Carolina in 4, Lewis and then Mitchell, then John Drummond from Odessa College and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 7, Darren Council, a graduate of Auburn, in lane 8. Marty LaCourie, who joins me here, knows the pressure that lies on all the men in this semifinal.
Lots of pressure, because getting into the final of the 100 meters at the U.S. trials is the hardest race every 4 years. It's harder to get to the final in this race than it will be in the Olympics. So there's a lot of pressure. Carl Lewis, after his 2 great races yesterday, has shown that he's faster than he ever was, he's stronger, and he seems even more focused. He should make it out of this semifinal without any trouble. The question marks in this race, though, are in lanes 1 and 2. Harvey Glantz at 31 may be too old, and Brian Cooper right there should be on the team, but 2 weeks ago in Helsinki he pulled the muscle in his hamstring. He's managed to get through 2 rounds. He figures if he can get through this one and get to the final, anything can happen in the final. So those are the real question marks right now.
Let me quickly set up what's on the line here. First of all, if you're Carl Lewis even, and you slip and fall and don't finish in the top 4 positions, your Olympic dream, at least in this event, is over. That puts a tremendous amount of pressure on these athletes. So the top 4 will move to the final, which we will have live for you later on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Now, already today, the wind and these fast conditions have allowed Florence Joyner Griffith to run a 10.6 in the 100. The world record is 10.76. And Willie Banks had the longest triple jump in history, 59 feet 3 inches, but those were wind aided. Here now, the 100 meter men's semifinal. Lewis in 5, Mitchell in 6, Harvey Glantz in 1. And the recovering Brian Cooper in lane 2. Lane 1 on the inside near the grass. Lane 8 towards the crowd on the near side. And off the start, it's Carl Lewis. Lewis being captured there by Lee McNeill. Lewis breaking away again. Carl Lewis leading it across the line, with Dennis Mitchell finishing in 2nd. Much too close to call for 3rd and 4th.
Carl with a very slow reaction to the gun. Lee McNeill, who was next to him in lane 4, had a great start, but Carl showed the acceleration that he is famous for. Lee McNeill gets out faster than Carl. Carl takes his time getting upright. He's got to be very confident after yesterday, and with the final coming up, this is the race he wants to run the slowest time of the 4. Over on the far right, Brian Cooper looks to be in great shape with those 2 bandages on his legs, but in the last 30 meters he fades to about 5th. So advancing will be Carl Lewis, Dennis Mitchell, Lee McNeill, and perhaps Harvey Glantz. Harvey losing it in the last step. Harvey Glantz is 5th. And so Brian Cooper will not make it either. Here's Carl again. Carl trying to expend his energy evenly, not trying to come flying out of the blocks. He's got to be very confident after running under 10 seconds twice yesterday, and he knows he can spot the field a yard or so and make it up in the second 50. That's the best way to do it, the best way not to get injured. Dennis Mitchell dangerously close to the running out of his lane as they lean for the tape. Carl unpressed here.
Just over 1,300 athletes came here to Indianapolis. Less than 1 in 10 will get a chance to go to Seoul. In semifinal number 1 in the men's 100 meters seen earlier, Carl Lewis, Dennis Mitchell, Lee McNeill, and Mike Marsh earned their way into the final, which is coming up later. Live coverage of that on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Then Calvin Smith, the co-record holder in the American record with Carl Lewis, Albert Robinson, Joe DeLoach, the NCAA champion, and Emmett King all earned their way into the final.
But last summer at the World Track and Field